We've been married for 3 months. While I was pregnant with both of his children, he left and cheated on me, and now the thought of having sex with him makes me sick to my stomach.
Before we got married, my husband promised to treat me like a queen. But since we've been married, he's treated me like a slave instead. I don't know how much more I can take of this.
My husband's so jealous and insecure that our marriage finally fell apart. I'm so lonely, and I don't know how it can go on. I wish he'd just believe in the love I have for him.
They say that they love each other, and they thought their marriages would last forever when they stood there and took their vows. They're here because they're at the breaking point. Can these marriages be saved? They're young marriages. We're going to find out. I want you to meet Crystal. Crystal and her hubby, Randy, have been married for 3 months. Already, Crystal says she often dreams of the day when she can get divorced and finally be happy again. So you'd only be happy if you were divorced?
No, it's just that there's been so much pain through the time that we've been together.
You know, Crystal, Randy is backstage and he can hear you, and he'll be here in a minute, all right? Why don't you tell us about the troubles? I know they started before the wedding day. So
Well, I just want to say, because I can see him, it's not that I would just be happy if I get divorced. It's just that, you know, there's so much pain that I just want it to go away. And, you know, I can think that if it was just me and my kids, that maybe I would be happy, but I'm not going to be happy without him. I just want him to know that.
What's the pain from? Come and tell me what the pain is from.
Well, you want me to start from the beginning?
I want you to start from wherever you want to start from.
Well, Randy and I, we first met, we were in high school together. We dated for about 6 months, and, you know, through that time, love developed for both of us. You know, we both fell in love with each other, but we were 17, we were real young, and I found out that I was pregnant with my first little girl. And I told Randy, and I think his heart broke that day.
His heart broke?
Well, he was, I can't believe I'm still crying. He was 17. You know, he was living on his own, basically. He was living with friends, you know, and he really didn't have anyone to turn to aside from me. And here I'm telling him I'm pregnant with, you know, and it was a scary thing to go through when you're 17 years old. So he cried for about an hour and a half that day. You know, just held on to me and cried. And he asked me if I would have an abortion, and, you know, I couldn't do that. I just don't believe in that. Not to mention, I was too far along in the pregnancy to do that. So I told him I couldn't do that, and he said he understood that night. So, you know, I left, and we talked a couple of times throughout. This was like all between a 2-week period. We talked a couple of times, mostly yelling and screaming, and it led to the fact that he gave me an ultimatum to whether if I gave Chelsea up, then he would stay with me. And if I didn't give her up, then he would leave. But it turned out it was going to be that either way I went, he was going to go. So I told him that I wasn't going to lose both of them. And I decided to keep my little girl. And he drove away, and I didn't see him for 4 months. And 1 week exactly after New Year's, he called and said, he calls me Booger. That's his little nickname for me. He said, he called up my old phone number, and then it gave him, you know, the new number is. So he called and left a message on my parents' machine, because I had a separate phone line and things. And so I finally called him back, and he says, Booger, I want you to sit down. I have something to tell you. And I said, okay. And he said, what would you say if I told you that being with you and my child was the most important thing to me? And he wanted me to take him back. And of course, you know, I was like, sure, come on over, you know, we'll talk. And, you know, I was so excited about it. And that's how we got back together the first time.
A week after he came back, you discovered something that was very shocking. What did you find out?
My parents had invited him over to watch videos and have dinner. You know, they were trying to accept, because, you know, my parents were upset that all this has happened. So they were trying to accept Randy. And they invited him over to have dinner and watch a movie. And my girlfriend, Carrie Ann, my best friend in my entire world, who helped me through all of this, so if she watches this, I wanted to let you know I loved you. And
she called and Randy answered the phone. I had my own phone line and my own answering machine, and it was on. So when Randy picked it up on the 4th ring, the machine came on. So it recorded the first half of their conversation, unbeknownst to anybody but me, because nobody else knew. So they were just talking, and I'm sitting on the couch listening to him talk. He's just going, yeah, possibly, yeah. I mean, that's all I heard. So when I got on the phone with her, I went back and I played the machine, and the girl that he had left to come back to me was pregnant with his baby.
This was an old girlfriend?
The girl that he split up with to come back to me was the girl. That didn't work out. She had a miscarriage, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it anyway. So it was, it worked out in the end, but it was a pretty big shock.
Now, when you found out that he had gotten his girlfriend pregnant, you also got pregnant immediately afterwards in a matter of 2 months?
After I had my little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Let me ask you a question. How are things with you and Randy right now?
They're pretty bad.
Why?
He feels like I don't love him. He thinks that I'm not in love with him anymore. And aside from this, having the same last name and living in the same house, and the fact that we have 2 children together, there's not a marriage.
There's not a marriage? There's no marital relationship? Why? You've only been married 3 months.
Because, well, he left me the second time when I was pregnant with my son, and he went back to this girl, and the whole time, that he's with her, he's telling me that he still loved me and he didn't want to be with anybody else, and, that he was going to stay true to me. And then I found out, through my girlfriend Carrie Ann again, that he was sleeping with her 2 days, in fact, after he left
The
me.
girlfriend, not Carrie Ann.
No. No.
Crystal, you told my producers that when Randy comes near you, you cringe and you haven't had sex in over a month. Why? Do you feel he's in love with that other woman?
Oh, no. No.
Then what's the problem?
The problem is that when I make love to Randy, I wonder if I think about the other girl. I wonder if he did this with her, or if
Sure.
this is what he said to her, and it makes me sick to my stomach, and
You just can't because of the other women, right?
I just can't.
Women or woman? More than one or one?
One particular woman, but there were several.
Okay. All right. Let's hear what Randy has to say about all of this. Randy, come on out.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Randy.
Randy, you're newly married, and yet you just heard your wife tell us she has dreams of getting a divorce, which I saw must have broken you up. Can
Let
you
me get one thing straight.
Yes, explain what's going on.
That child that she says, okay, that girlfriend supposedly that she said that I had that was pregnant with my child, that was untrue. She was pregnant with some other kid's child or some other guy's child, and it was not mine.
You told Carrie Ann you thought it was, she said, is it yours, and you said probably. I got it on tape, Ryan. I mean, I'm not trying to, make you upset, but that you even told me, yeah, it was probably yours. And everybody that this girl talked to said, yeah, it was
there
yours.
was tests done during that,
Okay. Well, I didn't know
and
that.
they can be proven.
Well, I didn't know that, okay?
It is not mine. It was not mine.
Randy, what is going on here? You've left her not once. How many times
The
did
first
Crystal
time-
say you leave and come back, leave and come back?
Okay,
while
the
she's
first
pregnant?
time I was 17, I was scared. My dad kicked me out when I was 13 years old. Ever since then, I had to fend for myself, I had to feed myself, clothe myself, and send myself to school.
Right.
And still get up and go to work after school. Okay, I made it to the 10th grade, and I found out that I could no longer go to school and work at the same time. I could not live that way. So I had to full-on quit school and then go off and work full-time. The whole time we had our relationship going, and then she came up and she told me that she was pregnant, and how could I support her and a baby? There was just I didn't think there was any way possible.
But I needed you, I couldn't support myself either. I needed you.
It's the problem of babies having babies. Did anybody teach either of you about birth control?
Yes,
yeah.
But,
I was on the pill when I got pregnant with Chelsea. We were on birth control when
then
I got
you're
pregnant.
1 in 7 million. Because
It happens
that's-
every day.
No, it doesn't really happen. It's people who say it happens. I'm not going to argue with you about it, but statistically, if you take
Either
those
way,
things,
I came back because I really wanted to try, and I wanted to give it an effort. I wanted to see if we could do something to make it work.
I think she's upset about the sex with the other women when you've been apart. That's what I think is the problem.
What was I supposed to do? I did not know if she was going to ever take me back. In my heart, I didn't think that she ever would. I didn't think that she would want somebody like me.
I
was
told
such
you.
a bad person to her, and I'm so
I told
sorry
you
for it.
every day that I loved you and the door was always open for you to come back. I mean, the first time, I understand, I didn't think that we were ever going to get back together either.
And the second
but the second time, Randy, 2 days after you left, you were sleeping with her.
That is not true. You
told me that from
You're
your
gonna
own
listen to
mouth.
Carrie Ann?
No,
You're gonna
I'm
listen to your
listening to you.
friend?
You told me that over the phone when was on the other line. You told me that when you called my
Well, then I'm
house.
sorry, I don't remember saying that. The second time, I left her, and it was totally and completely my fault. And that's why I'm here today, because I want everybody to punish me the way I'm supposed to be. I never was punished for it, okay? I understand what I did was fully wrong, and I was listening to my guns. I wasn't listening to my heart. And I'm so sorry. I can remember it like it was 5 minutes ago. I watched her break down in her front yard while I was driving away, and I feel so for that. I cannot believe I did that. And there's no way that I can make it up. She won't let me make it up.
Well, sometimes it's hard to get that
It was 2
thing
years
of
ago.
trust again. I know, but you can't argue with somebody who can't rebuild the trust. Crystal, that's
Yes.
what we ought to really talk about. Do you love him?
Extremely, with all of my heart.
Do you love her?
I do. She's the only one that I ever wanted to be in love with.
Randy, I was pregnant with your child. How much more do you need me to prove that I love you?
I'm not supposed to ask for advice. You?
No, but you were supposed to talk to me, Randy. I was your other person.
I couldn't
was your
talk to
partner
you.
in life, Randy.
Your parents didn't even want me around the house. They wouldn't let me in the house. Only on special occasions.
Doesn't
that's
matter.
why.
I had a car. I drove to go see you. I took Chelsea to see you. My parents have nothing to do with this, okay? It was me and it was you. It was not my parents. My dad didn't get me pregnant. My mom didn't get me pregnant. You did.
I know I did.
Crystal, what do you want to have happen? Do you want to be able to trust him again?
It's not that I don't trust Randy. I mean, I know he's not cheating on me, and yes, it was a long time ago.
Then what
but
is
we
it?
never talked about it, and those feelings are so real. It's like it was yesterday. I mean, I think about it all the time. My heart was just broken, I mean, the only person that I ever loved was gone, and while he was gone, he acted like he didn't care at all, And just the feelings of being rejected and pregnant with your child and have someone to leave.
So is there any chance you could get that out of your head? Any chance you could forgive?
He wants me, Randy, he wants me to just forget about it, I mean, I would love to just forget about it. I would love
But
not
you
to think
can't.
about it. I'm never going to forget about it, but I can forgive, and I just want a way to get over it. I want to get past it. I
So
don't want
that's
to just
something
stare at it.
that's something that there may be a meeting ground on that we should talk about.
What I don't
Go
understand.
ahead.
I think that you need to stop running every time things don't go your way. That's basically what it is. It's running. You are running away from your responsibility. You can work 12 hours a day. It doesn't matter. If you're not there for your wife, your girlfriend, your companion, and your children see their father running. Whenever things get tough, what do you think your children are going to do when they get older? They're going to run. Stop running.
I think maybe she put her finger on it. When we come back, this newlywed bride says she's so unhappy in her marriage that she's considered killing herself and the baby daughter. Now, she hasn't seen her husband in 5 months. Find out what happens when they come face to face for the first time next. Welcome back. Today we're talking to newlyweds who say they're on the verge of divorce. I would like you to meet Tracy. Tracy has been married for a year and a half and hasn't seen her, that year and a half, 18-month marriage, has not seen her husband in 5 of those months. She says Tom is very insecure and constantly accuses her of cheating on him. The breaking point came 5 months ago when Tracy had Tom arrested for domestic violence and then moved herself and the baby 3,000 miles away. Tom is waiting backstage and he will join us. But first, Tracy, you've known each other longer than the 18 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything was good even after we got married, and then it seemed when the baby came, things kind of changed a little bit. I don't know if maybe he didn't feel like I was giving him enough attention.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, and I think it kind of was like after the baby was born, he was worrying about if the weight was going to come off, if I was going to lose all the weight, why I wasn't having sex with him, and the issue was is he pushed the sex a lot after the baby was born, and I just wanted some time to recuperate because
Sure.
it's not easy, it's hard,
Sure.
and I don't know, things started changing. It's not only him, it's me. We both are really good at pushing each other's buttons, and I mean, I go at him sometimes, and I argue with him, and I don't leave him alone.
You haven't seen each other in 5 months. What's caused this separation? You had him arrested for hitting you?
We were fighting, and the night before I had him arrested, he threw his wedding band in my face and told me that the marriage was over.
And how did the arrest come about?
We started arguing the next day about money or something, and I was changing the baby's diaper, and he just came at me, and he started pulling my hair, and he just dragged me around the house. So I left with the baby.
And had him arrested. How long was he in jail?
He only spent the night in jail, and I guess his job bailed him out. And he came home, and I said, well, I want us to talk about this. And he's like, no, this is over. I don't want to be with you. I don't love you. And I tried to get his friend to get him to talk to me. And he ended up kicking out the screen in the bedroom and left. And 4 days later, I got on a plane with the baby and came back home to Pennsylvania.
You haven't seen him in all that time. You told our producers since you've been separated from him, you've even thought of killing yourself. Why?
He is the love of my life. He's the only man I've ever loved. I was never going to get married. I was never going to have children. And the day I met him, I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with him.
But
I knew.
Why would you want to kill the baby?
Because when I first went back home, he didn't want to talk to me. He just said, I'm going to make you suffer for making me go to jail. I'm never going to trust you again. I'll never forgive you for doing this to me. And I just couldn't go on anymore. I was so depressed. I thought about killing myself all the time. I cried all the time.
But why the baby? Why the baby?
Because it just seemed like he wouldn't even call about her. He didn't call and see how she's doing. He missed her first steps. He missed her first words. And
He has not called you and asked you how you are.
I would call him and try and talk to him about the baby, and he would just say, oh, well, that's nice. It's so nice. You made me miss out on all these things with my daughter. And he blames me. I'm not saying he's the only person to blame, but we both have problems we need to work on, and I love him, and I want to be with him.
Let me ask you a question. Are you sorry? Having somebody arrested is a pretty serious thing. Are you sorry that you did that?
Part of me is sorry, but part of me is not, because I'm afraid he was going to really hurt me.
You say in the 5 months that you haven't seen each other, you're living in his shadow.
I live in the shadow of those two ex-wives because he doesn't believe that I love him. He doesn't believe in me, and he thinks I'm going to go down the same road the two of them went down.
I understand. Do you not feel badly that he didn't call you or try to contact you in the 5 months?
I called him. We talked a little bit, but it was every time I'd tell him I love him and I miss him. He just didn't really want to hear it. He'd argue with me, or who are you sleeping with? I know you're sleeping with someone. And that's all I ever got from him. He's constantly badgering me that I've been with other people.
Have you?
There is no one else. There's him. That's it. He's the only person I want to be with. He doesn't believe in me. He doesn't believe that I love him.
Tracy, you haven't seen in 5 months. I think it's time we hear how he feels about this. Are you ready to see him? All right, now
Yes.
dry your eyes. Come on out, Tom.
Love you, baby.
Tom, body language tells a lot, right? Body language tells a lot. It's been 5 months. How do you feel about seeing her after all this time?
I'm still mad at her.
We can
Very
tell.
mad at her.
Okay, we can tell that, I guess. You feel you should not have been arrested, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You can carry that anger with you the whole of your life. Are you going to?
I don't know. I can't really say.
Well,
I'm
anger-
cooled off by now to come over here to see her.
But anger only hurts you. It doesn't hurt anybody else. So how long do you want to hold the anger?
It's been in me for 5 months now, and it's releasing out slowly.
Okay.
So I can't tell you how long
do
it's going
you-
to be there.
How long do you think it'll take for you to be over the anger?
I don't know. I need counseling on this. She needs counseling on this.
That's why I called the show, because I know he's a good person. And I know that he loves me and his daughter. And I know that this marriage can be good.
Tom, do you love Tracy?
Yes, I do love Tracy.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think she does need counseling, because I don't think that he loves you, and I think that you need to accept yourself, and you need to realize that a man like that he's not capable of love. He pulls hair. I fought with my sister. I pulled hair with my sister when I was 10. You know, I mean, he doesn't love you. He's not mature like that. He's not going to take care of you. And you do need counseling. You need to know that there are people out there that will respect you and will love you, and they won't hurt you, and they will love you as much as you love them.
We pull hair when we have sex. What's the difference?
Tom, Tracy says another problem is that Tracy says that you've called her a bitch, you say she's too fat, and you do say to her you don't love her anymore. You are always accusing her of cheating on you. So that's a whole list of things.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I did call her a bitch. I do call her a bitch.
Okay.
'Cause she is a bitch.
You need to get up and go off stage.
I think maybe that's a problem.
Where you're going to be happy to
I
see
think
it.
maybe
No.
that's his problem.
Well, you haven't seen the other side of Tracy either.
Come on.
Okay.
But what
I saw
about...
enough of her to know she don't deserve to be
bad
treated
guy
like that
in
this whole situation. Everybody's putting the blame on Tom. We both provoked what happened.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that I think that he's probably been fooling around the last 5 months, all right? And he's just using that as an excuse. He's trying to attack her self-esteem, while meanwhile he's sneaking around on the side. That's what I think.
Tom, what do you want to say to Tracy?
What do I want to say to Tracy? How could you sit there and tell me you love me and put me in jail? Huh?
I was afraid, Tom. I was afraid you were really going to hurt me.
Did I hurt you?
I was afraid for me, and I was afraid for our daughter. Our daughter can't grow up seeing you hit me. It's not all right.
Did I hit you?
I just don't want her to grow up in violence. I don't want her to grow up around that, Tom.
Who brings the violence to the house? Who?
We both do.
Okay. I agree.
Tracy, what do you see that you want to improve in your relationship, or what do you think
I want
is
him-
going to come from this? If you do work it out, what would you like?
Because we've made so many empty promises to each other that we were going to get counseling, and this is the only way. This is the last hope for me, for the two of us. This is the way that I think that we're finally going to get a chance to heal our marriage and our relationship. I'm not going to give up on him. I love him with all my heart.
What about him? How do you feel about that?
I love Tracy too. I want our marriage to work, but I'm insecure about going back to jail again because I know she's going to start another fight with me.
He's afraid I'm
there's
going to
your
have him
answer.
arrested again.
She will.
He's afraid that I'm going to do that.
That's why I won't let her come back home.
All right, let's see what we can do about this, and I'm interested in how you feel it's going to go. They started out as lovers. Now that the affair is over, they're married. He says the excitement's gone and she's considering divorce. What happened when the thrill of the chase is over? Stay tuned. I want you all to meet Donica. Donica married the man she was cheating with 5 months ago. Now she says that she may have made a mistake and is considering getting a divorce. Is that right, Donica? Is that
Yes, that is right.
Donica's husband's name is Junior. He's backstage. Donica, you say that when you and Junior were having an affair, you had a very passionate relationship. Sometimes people break up when the first baby comes because of jealousy, and sometimes when they get married, they ruin a good relationship, funny as it may sound. How has it changed since you've been married?
When I married Junior,
Now, you were married, you were cheating with him. I was correct,
yes,
right?
I was in a first marriage, and him and I were having an affair, I guess you can put it. And when I first met him, and he was very compassionate, very caring and kind, and he understood my feelings and stuff. In fact, quite a few times he cried for me because he saw the marriage I was in the first time, and he promised me that he'd take me out of this mess, that he'd take me out of this marriage. It was kind of like what you can say, a knight in shining armor.
Was he married at the time, too?
No, I'm his first marriage. He was, and then when we did get married and everything, he changed. He became violent, okay? He became abusive. He was like, we were living with his mom and dad, you know, before we were married, and he was abusive then. But when we got married and everything, he was being abusive. And what he would do is he would, he doesn't understand my feelings. He doesn't care about my feelings. It's like, it's like he don't care. He sits there, and I try to talk to him, and he gets mad at me. Every time I try to talk to him, we always wind up in an argument. It's like there's no communication. I cannot talk to him.
Let me tell you exactly what Junior has done, then you're going to bring him out. She says he's controlling, and you work at a nursing home, and he's jealous of the old men, since you have to wash them. You once looked at a man while you and Junior were in the car, and he took you by the neck and hit your head against the window, so now you only look straight ahead, right? When you're in the car? Okay. If his dinner isn't on the table, he yells. If his pants aren't washed, he yells. He yells at you for buying tampons, and even yells if you pay the bills. Yet he'll spend money on beer on the weekends. What is this tampon story? What is that about?
Well, I had to go to the store to get me some. And when I came back, I told him that, you know, I had gotten some, and he got mad at me for spending the money.
Does he make you account for all the money?
He said, I mean...
That's a necessity, though, don't you understand?
Yes, I know. But he just didn't seem to care, really. You know, he just got really mad because I went and got this.
I think it's time we heard from Donica's husband, Junior. Junior, come on out. Junior, Donica has painted a pretty ugly picture of your relationship together. She says that you're abusive, you're jealous, you're controlling. You don't let her have money. Do you usually get angry if she spends money on personal items? What is that all about?
Well, I have before, but not very rarely I've done that. I mean, she's, like, if she ever has to go out and get it, like, she's got, like, all kinds of them in the bathroom or something, and she'll go out and get it.
She has all kinds of what?
She'll already have it in the bathroom, and she'll need to go and get it.
Oh, that's not...
Doesn't a woman determine that herself? Why does that bother you that she... What about other things? Are you worried about her spending money on other things or only on tampons?
No, I don't care. I mean, it's only like a couple times I've ever said anything because she...
No, it's not. You've always jumped on me about spending money. I can go and buy things for the house and everything, and you'd always go and you'd sit there and jump on me. well, why'd you go and spend this? Why'd you go and spend that? And you know, I told you. I said, well, if I did go off and spend the money, at least I'm not going off and spending on a bunch of clothes or something, you know, or just going and blowing it, because I'm not blowing it. I'm using it. And then you sit there and you get mad at me every time I use it. Every time you get mad at me for using money. And I don't buy anything but things for the house.
I'm sorry.
It's not
That
right.
can ruin a lot of marriages. You know. Junior, what do you want to have happen between you and your wife? What would you like to have happen?
I'd like to straighten out everything, like the problems that I have with her. And the main problem is I sleep during the day and I work at night. And it's hard to, can't talk to each other.
It is very hard, I know. But you know, I lived 8 years where I worked all night, my husband worked all day, and we're still together. It can be done. It can be done. Now, it isn't easy, but it can be done. Do you love your wife?
I love my wife very much.
Do you want it to work?
Yes.
Okay. What would you like to tell him, Donica?
I love you, Junior. And I'd do anything if you just go back to the guy you were when I first met you. Without the drinking involved and stuff, but just when I first met you, how compassionate and how warm you were to me. I want you back. I want that guy back. The one who was understanding.
Sometimes the drink makes you can make you a monster. I think you understand that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a comment from the first couple. I'm 18 and I've had relationships maybe as long or longer than you all. And I think that it sounds to me like you all are just jumping into the marriage and having children.
Yeah.
We've been together for almost 5 years. I don't think we're jumping into anything. You know, my children came, I can't help that. I'm glad they're here, but we have worked long and hard to get where we're at, and it's not perfect, but we're here, you know. I mean, I'm not...
Why don't we take a break? We'll be right back. We've been talking to newlyweds who say they're ready to call it quits before the honeymoon is even over. We have with us Dr. Lillian Glass. She's a relationship expert, and she's written a book called He Says, She Says, which we've been listening to today. Can we have advice on our first two couples, please?
Absolutely. First of all, I think with Randy and Crystal here, there's obviously so much love between them. Wouldn't you agree? And unfortunately, this is what happens, as Sally said, when children marry one another and have children. This is exactly what happens, because there's a lot of immaturity. We also have to look at Randy's situation. At 13 years old, you were on your own.
Yes.
That's one heck of a thing for anybody to deal with. And now his girlfriend, fiance, is pregnant, and then he has to deal with that. That does not make him right that he left a few times. That does not make him right at all. But we can't, you know, not look at the whole picture. He definitely, and I think both of you need therapy in the worst way to get your relationship together, really.
Dr. Lillian, when a woman doesn't want a man to touch her, I mean, when we discuss this, there's a serious problem of really feeling nauseous,
sick,
even throwing up when they're about to have sex.
And rightfully so. I mean, there are a lot of things to deal with.
How do you get over that? If you don't want someone to touch you,
sure. Well,
you don't want someone to touch you?
First of all, there are a lot of things. Disease, I mean, you have to think of that. Other people, I mean, we live in the 90s. And you have to think about a lot of issues. What's making her sick is also the betrayal. Wouldn't you agree with that? But what you need to do is both of you work this out, get into some counseling where you can learn to at least communicate. You know, a lot of people in the audience were saying, no, you're going to do it again. I think you realize what life would be like without her, and I don't know if you would do it again. What do you think?
No,
you don't
I wouldn't.
feel...
Not in a million years I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think.
The only
do you
reason
think
why
you
we'd
kind of
ever split up is if she wanted to.
Okay, because I believe you two are real sincere, and if you get some counseling, now you say, well, you know, I don't have money, where can I go, and where would I go? And that's where a lot of young people out there, they wonder, you know, yes, I'm having a problem, so I'll talk to my girlfriend, I'll talk to a friend of mine, then she ends up being the girlfriend. That's not who you turn to. You call a university, because a lot of times they have free clinics where you can come see somebody, and people don't know about this, or you call some agencies, but you need to get some help, and maybe we can help you out here. Okay? But I think you can make it.
All right, let's talk about our next couple, Tom and Tracy. I see some real problems here. What's really going on? The audience is not too fond, I would say.
It's really interesting. I think the audience and people at home watching have seen a situation, and I'm not trying to make any comparisons, but I am going to compare the concept of domestic violence. And we've all watched the O.J. case for an entire year, and we see a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
You know, the man saying, I was the one that was abused, correct? Then you're seeing another situation where she's hanging on to him, there's accusations made, and both parties obviously agitate one another. Tracy, you do love him.
Yes, I do.
And you do love her, right?
Yes, I do.
But when I heard you say, I love you, you said, I really love her. Yes, I do, but I'm angry. I mean, tone of voice says a lot. Body language. You know? And we're not trying to make you the bad guy here, but, you know, there is a problem here. And, you know, like she's clinging to you. When you came out, she was the one that grabbed you. You know, she was the one. And we're not saying what's right or wrong. But if you two want a chance, any chance, you've got to get into major, major counseling. And sweetheart, nobody is worth killing a baby over.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
Nobody is worth even that thought, because that's an individual life, and that's a gift. That's a gift from God, and you cannot ever feel that way. And if you are having those feelings with depression, you've got to get help immediately. Immediately.
We'll be right back. Go ahead.
I have a question for Tom. You haven't seen your wife in 5 months, right? So that means that you haven't seen your child in 5 months. What kind of father does that make you?
One that's 3,000 miles away.
It wasn't Tom's choice for me to leave. It was my choice, and I left. If he could see her,
Junior,
he would
I
see
would
her.
be very irresponsible if I didn't suggest to you that your wife thinks that you drink too much. Do you drink too much?
Yeah, I do.
What do you think should be done about it?
I think I need to get some help.
Yeah. There's AA. I have a friend who's just celebrated 15 years without a drink, and his life has completely changed. I think you know in your rational mind that when you're not drinking, you're one kind of guy, and then when you are drinking, you're another. Don't you think so?
Yeah. I'm different. I mean,
it would be wonderful if you could make her a promise that you'd get some help. Right? That doesn't cost anything. AA doesn't cost anything. Dr. Lillian?
I think that I just have one question comes to me. If you know he was abusive before you got married, why did you get married?
I'll tell you. Junior, my husband is a very caring guy. He's got a nice side about him.
And he's also got an abusive side, honey.
I know.
And sweetheart, this is, and I'm glad we're bringing this up, because when a man raises a hand to you, you're out of there. You're out of there. It doesn't work. And you know, we can talk about him and hear his side and go into it, but the bottom line is, it's unless some miracle happens and you get some major, major therapy for a lot of years, because it's not going to work, because self-esteem is really low, and I know it's going to hurt horribly to get rid of the situation now, but I will tell you, you're better off now than in 20 years of this abuse.
We'll be right back.
I really feel this couple can work things out. But the other two girls, you have to get rid of these abusive bums. They're bums. Get rid of them.
I think you need to quit crying and start proving that you love her, like you're sitting here saying
Okay,
that you do.
I got an answer for that.
How would he do that? How would he do that?
Start taking care of his responsibility.
Oh, he does. He takes very good care
Well,
of
he
me and the
needs to start
children.
taking care of you, and
And maybe it can be rebuilt. I think that's probably what you're saying.
I'd like to ask Tom why his first 2 marriages failed.
Why? One of the wives was involved in a lot of drugs, and the other one was she went out and got pregnant by somebody else.
But don't you think that you're overreacting a bit too much about the fact that you only had to spend 1 night in jail?
Right.
I mean, it wasn't 6 months.
It could have been
or something
6
like that.
months.
Right, but it wasn't.
Okay,
It was
could have
only
been up
1
to
night.
a year.
Tom, not only have you been separated from your wife, Tracy, for 5 months, you haven't seen the baby, have you? Would you like to see the baby?
Yes.
Okay. Let's bring the baby out. So.
she's the little girl. That's what it's about.
We'll be right back. It can be saved. It can be saved if you're willing to do some work on it, because all the thoughts that it may come easy, that's just not true. And it can be saved if you really genuinely in your heart love each other. See you next time.